to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 13th. It's not a Friday, but as if that matters at this particular point. So you can see nice rising shakeout here as we near the 0 point. We've had plenty of conversions in our readings here suggesting an improvement. However, no full reset of our steel, meaning that we're likely to still have some back and forth with the movement. We're not overbought in any way, shape, or form, so we're just getting the gentle glide back up to what was the highs. And as we pointed out before, the NASDAQ way over. So previous highs for the NASDAQ has already eclipsed it. So there's going to have to be a reversion to mean at some point here where we're going to see the NASDAQ trail off a little bit more, or the ES has to catch up in a much, but it's hard to imagine the ES catching up and not having the NASDAQ move up at the same time. So that's likely going to occur in a down move. You can see cyan under red already here in the DOC for the NASDAQ, meaning much more bullish than if I go back and show you the ES again, you can see the relationship difference. It's significant. And that just means that there's less activity in the broader market at this particular point. To elevate things is more technology move. Euro maintaining its strength. In fact, it keeps getting rejected here, though, every time it gets to the main point. So we should still see a little bit of a pullback into there, or at least it's going to hold even. We've had a steady decline in the shakeout at or about the same highs. So that's been completely reset. We just don't have an oversold condition or anything that suggests that we're going to get a turnaround. So we're likely stuck in a flat period, so to speak. We've seen that with the treasuries. There's still a bit of uncertainty as to where those things went to head. I mean, I still suggest to you that the case of yields have to rise. How fast is the only question. We're still waiting to see how the new Fed is going to react to what they're seeing on the economic front. We've seen that despite the growth that's taking place, we have not fully utilized the available labor participation capabilities. So we're just sucking in people who otherwise had been discouraged and just weren't counted anymore, showing the fallacy of those unemployment statistics and how irrelevant it really is. And oil, like we said, as long as there's economic activity, you're going to maintain a little bit more elevated state, and there will be a bottleneck though once we reach capacity, and that's when oil will really rise, and that will put, if interest rates don't do it, the damper on where things are. As far as gold goes, again, it should still be rising. It's still been in a very soft position here for quite some time after we had the run up. It's just pretty much held flat, and that really doesn't match what we're seeing from a growth and inflation potential. Bitcoin has been in the news recently. It's still separate. I mean, we're what, 50% below 50% of where it was, and still continue to struggle. And again, you know, there's that steel. We finally got a little bit of a reset to it, but nothing that's taken it into the oversold categories that gave the initial pushes. In fact, when this reset took place, we had the DOC spread that led to a significant decline as we ended up to the 50%, was still in a significant sell, made it all the way to the zero line. Now we're sort of just like in a stabilizing mode. Nobody's willing to really go below or above there. From a 5K standpoint, the day was pretty soft. We ended up with an attempt back at the highs as expected. At the market open, could not hold that, and then we ended up with our DOC spread that took place there. And once we get to the 50% marker, which was right about here, we still didn't get any crossover, nor did we get any orange reset, which meant you had continuation. So the expectation to the zero line was there. And we talked about that on the Skype chat as it was well before it took place. And then we just sort of hummed along flat to zero. And if you look at it from the close last week, we're pretty much same spot, no change. Looking at a full reset here, not much of an increase when you're looking at the fact that cyan is already dipped below the red here on the 5K, so this isn't likely to sustain itself for too long. Rising shakeout now, but Again, we're probably going to see a little bit more increase before we fade back for the open, and we'll do the exact same thing that we did here, which you can see this pattern repeats over and over again on futures. This is very typical for that European session to either do the dips to fill in positive extremes to take them out, and then usually makes its new highs, fades to come to the open, and then works its way back, sort of like telegraphing the signal ahead of time. So I think that a little bit drop in volatility that we saw is probably going to last for a couple more days as we move towards the end of the week. We'll just play it as it comes. Still plenty of range to make some really decent moves. So no objections with any of that. The bias still is generally to the long side. So barring any major news escalation, just keep at it the way it is. As always, though, I'll put up charts as relevant. Really wasn't anything exciting to put out there for those last couple of ones, but that's okay. Trade well, and we will talk on Skype chat.